Worshiper. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Solomon's Porch with your host, Jason.
And Shawn.
Wow.
Yeah. What, are you blinded?
I think your camera was. I think your camera got a little bit blinded there.
Yeah.
It was like white, and then it stayed white for a little bit, and then
Okay.
Whatever. So anyway, man. So welcome back to the porch. Again, we are working our hardest to get this whole system set up and working on this whole YouTube thing and audio and all that. I know the past few episodes, the audio has not been great. So I'm really hoping that this go around it's doing okay. We did a test run and all that good stuff. So yeah, man, just trying to make some good productive showmanship and quality. I don't know. I'm not gonna say art because I don't know. But anyway, before we jump into the show, we do want to thank our official sponsor for this episode, Worshipper. He's got a new song called Waymaker featuring Practical. So and the information about the song, God is a waymaker and strong tower. He can do all things regarding my testimony and freedom. Expounding on that, delivered and transformed at the age of 18, Worshipper accepted the call in his life to transition from being a music artist to a kingdom artist. Upon the transition, Worshipper immediately noticed that there was such a huge need for living word music that would minister to today's people. Quickly, he began his ministry of music. And so he's also got a new project coming out called The Return. So make sure you go follow him on Facebook. I am One Take. And Twitter, Worship Music. You'd have to go see because it's kind of spelled differently. It's a WORSHYPER. So yeah, thank you, Worshipper, for sponsoring the episode. And also True Strength Apparel. Make sure you check out TrueStrengthApparel.com for all of the awesome things that Aaron has over there. So let's jump into the news, man.
Okay. So I totally missed this, and I was kind of bummed that I had. But my daughter brought it to my attention, and then I searched up and down Facebook, and that's probably why I didn't pick up on this to begin with, is because I was mostly on Facebook. But so it was announced who was going to get their next Hollywood stars on the Walk of Fame.
Okay.
So you know about the stars, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so they've just announced whose stars are going to be installed in 2022. And this is, quite honestly, I was a little shocked by some of these names not having already been on there. And then with some of the names that are kind of like, I don't know, I guess like relatively new folks compared to some of the other folks that probably should have already had a star. So anyway, on the top of the list, we have Carrie Fisher. This was definitely one that I was like, really? You're just now giving Carrie a star? I mean, I don't know. Anyway, it seems like it's one, of course, it's posthumously, and two, she should have already had a star by now. You pretty much could have done the entire Star Wars cast at one point.
Yeah.
And let that be that. But we do have another Star Wars actor as well. Ewan McGregor's on the list. Followed up with some other really well-known actors like Willem Dafoe, Michael B. Jordan. That's definitely one of those young guns names.
Yeah. That
I was like, really? Michael B. Jordan and Carrie Fisher, and you waited this long for Carrie Fisher? Anyway, whatever. Salma Hayek, Tessa Thompson, Macaulay Culkin, Regina King, Bob Odenkirk, Ray Liotta. I think it's Liotta. Anyway, again, another actor that probably should have already had a star. Jason Momoa, Ming-Na Wen. All right, another Star Wars and Disney entity.
Yeah, lots of stuff.
Francis Ford Coppola, who definitely should have already had a star. Norman Reedus. Kenan Thompson is getting a star. Okay. Tracy Ellis Ross. I don't know who that is. And oh boy, I can't even believe this guy gets a star. Ricky Gervais. Okay. Well, anyway, so there's some folks that are going to get their stars in 2022, and I think it's about time for at least a few of those names. And so, we'll be keeping up with that and probably give you guys some additional information about when those installations go in and if there's anything really newsworthy to keep up with.
Yeah, I'm really surprised.
So with that,
Jason Momoa, Tessa Thompson, and Michael B. Jordan are on there so quick.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not saying they're just now doing movies because they've been successful for a while now. But again, looking at a Carrie Fisher, looking at a Helen Hunt, like a lot of these people have been around for a very long. Yeah, William Dafoe for a very long time. Macaulay Culkin, he didn't do a whole lot other than Home Alone and that one movie with like the brother thing. He did a couple, but I don't know.
And even still, I mean, you can make the argument whether or not he deserves a star, but he's been in the industry longer than those others.
Very true. Very true.
I think that's the that's the shocking part is that it's like, wow.
Yeah. So and I'm sure this next person will hit it in a couple years. New Supergirl has been cast for the Flash movie, and it's Sasha. I don't know how to spell it. Calle. Okay. Calle. So she's an American actress, and she's actually more well known for The Young and the Restless.
Oh.
So that's interesting to see her kind of go from that to the DC EU to being a Supergirl in the new Flash film. So I think some people want more established actors and actresses to come in and play these roles that are newly casted for the movie universe. But you got to think too, if for some reason she blows up, they got to be able to afford to pay this person for more films.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you think about it. Even Nick Fury cost lots of money to pay Samuel L. Jackson to come in and do 5 minutes.
Right.
Robert Downey Jr. Same thing. 15 mil for 3 minutes of total screen time in Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. It's because they're well established. They know their worth. So you got to get some of these new folks in here to build a name for themselves. And if they blow up, you got to be able to afford to maintain them for long periods of time. And so she has officially been casted for that. Black Widow, man. Black Widow.
Well, well, I was just gonna say real quick. I'm not so sure about the casting of her as Supergirl. I don't really mind that she's brunette or dark haired as opposed to the stereotypical more blonde. But I'm looking at a picture that I'm hoping is maybe just like some other kind of muckety picture that somebody did up of her. But the outfit looks really lame, and she's got like super short hair in it. And
you talking about for the Supergirl?
Yeah,
it's not a real great image, and I was looking at it and I was thinking, this doesn't look like this. Looks more like a TV Supergirl.
Yeah, it really does. It doesn't look like it's movie quality. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully that pans out a little bit better. But I
mean, she didn't post any photos of herself on there, and I feel like she would have if it was legit. But I mean, it's whatever. I just know that whatever's going to happen. I don't know how long she's going to be in the film. I don't know if she's I don't think she's going to be like a multiverse version of her, because they wouldn't make such a big deal out of a multiverse character that's not going to be in there long.
Right.
So this is effectively the new Supergirl, and I can't remember who's directing the Flash, but I guess this is his vision for it. And that's the other thing too, is whenever a director, the writer, the casting for characters that are introduced in someone else's film, somebody in DC's got to agree to it. Because there's a Kevin Feige somewhere that's saying, yeah, we agree she'd make a long run Supergirl for
Right.
her own films, this, that, and the other. Otherwise, you have incidences. I mean, not the same, but like Rhodey and Iron Man,
Right.
or Edward Norton and the Hulk. So
Well, and she's, I think she's got that young enough look to her that she can sustain a Supergirl persona for a while. So we're not too worried about her like aging out of the character.
yeah,
So I think she definitely has that going for her.
yeah,
And I don't know how old she is, but if she's on the Young and the Restless and she looks as young as she does now, she's obviously just got a very young looking face. So,
yeah, true.
but anyway, yeah. So July 9th is Black Widow finally. So it's right around the corner. They keep showing little bits of extra trailers, lots of commercials. We're excited, we're ready. Go ahead and pre-buy your tickets, get your IMAX tickets. IMAX is still supposedly showing the extra 30 minutes of footage, so if you're interested, that's definitely the route you want to go. I'm actually a little surprised that my daughter hasn't already bought our tickets yet, so weird, but I'm sure that that's any day now.
Yeah,
So yeah, we talked just briefly in announcing from our last show some things that were coming up. Amongst the list of different shows and movies that are coming up that we're excited about was Loki.
yeah,
And so since our last show, the first 2 episodes have already aired.
yep.
And so I thought we would just give our 2 cents about what we thought about it.
Yeah, man. So I had the pleasure of reviewing the first episode with Shawn Grant from Track Stars. He was excited to be able to talk about this type of things on a media platform, because they really don't dive into these things on Track Stars. So, but you can see that breakdown. It was about 20 some minutes long, and we talked about a lot of the theological components to Loki. But now that we're on Solomon's Porch, the regular episode, man. What are your thoughts, Shawn, on all of the Christian? And these aren't like subtle Star Wars, Christianese that people tie into it. This is very much Christian theology played out in the Loki show. So, what are your thoughts, Shawn, on that?
There's Christian theology in the show.
There's lots of Christian theology
Is
in
there
Loki.
Christian
Very lots.
theology?
Yeah, man. So, but I mean, overall, I think the show is great. I think it's getting better. I don't know. Like, the cool thing about Loki is you never really know what he's thinking. He's always got you kind of at the edge of your seat. Like, is he really trying to be a good guy, or is he really trying to keep something up his sleeve? Like, I'm not really sure. So I enjoy that component about Loki, especially seeing him through the films that this current version of Loki didn't make it through. But looking at him at Ragnarok, Infinity War, and all these other films that he was a part of, and Dark World, Thor 2, you see kind of more character development. And so I think the hard thing is I think they tried to force him to that same Infinity War Loki by showing him the footage, and he sees the Ragnarok paperwork in episode 2. So he gets there a little bit, but not quite fully like he did in Infinity War, like to that level of caring for his brother and things like that. But I feel like this is the first show where I'm like, I really don't know what's gonna happen. Like, I'm really not sure.
Right.
Like, I have no idea.
So if we didn't really announce before we started our little bit of conversation. So obviously there's potential spoilers here for you.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen it, just understand that if we're talking about something that's current like this, there's always going to be potential spoilers. So, so in the second episode, we get this other Loki, a female Loki. And she looks really cool. She's so far been evil beyond evil, I guess. Definitely is playing the Loki that we know, and he doesn't even really fully realize it. He thinks that he's kind of getting over on her, and man, she's she's the puppet master.
Yeah.
They really stepped her up for being the uber bad guy in the film or in the show, and so I'm really excited about that. I think that's probably one of the most exciting things about this show is that level of intensity of a nemesis. So we kind of have the anti-hero within Loki, but then we still have a true legit villain, and then we still have, I guess you could say, the good guys, the TVA, but that kind of remains to be seen. But Mobius is just really Owen Wilson's doing a great job with that
nails
character.
It, man.
Really enjoying that a lot. I love the retro future vibe stuff going on. So from rotary phones to computer image characters that are semi-sentient, floating around free in space, easily then transferring into a computer screen or something. I mean, it's just there's lots of really cool stuff. That nice mixture of the sci-fi super futuristic stuff versus like some old school tech and things. So anyway, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I know that there's always correlations, and especially whenever you're talking about anything with Greek mythology, that there's always religious overtones or undertones or middle tones or highlights or shadow. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, but to me, it's like Star Wars. I just don't really pay attention so much. It's much more of just, hey, I'm enjoying this and I love the story and it's a lot of fun. Are there lessons and things that we can draw parallels on? Oh yeah, I'm sure. But unless it's like something that's subversively trying to break down my faith, I don't give it much thought otherwise. So
yeah, but is it Loki trying to do that? And then Mobius, because here's what I see. I see an atheist having a conversation with a Calvinist. So the atheist would be Loki in the scenario, and then the Calvinist would be Mobius. Anytime they're having a discussion about the timekeepers, about the sacred timeline, about all these things, that I just can't help but in my head hear that conversation take place, because I've had conversations where it's like, so hold on, wait a minute. So whenever I did all these bad things, it was approved by God or by the timekeepers? And no, not really. It's kind of complicated. Hold on, wait. So all these things? No, not exactly. It's kind of complicated. And these are conversations that I've had asked questions, even as a Christian, to people in the I guess the Calvinist arena, and like this is what I'm seeing in the show. Like I said after episode 1, Calvinists are going to love this show or they're going to hate this show. But I feel like, as you know, if you are a Calvinist and you watch this, you're going to come to a conclusion like, okay, this is really great and I want people to see this, but I guarantee you by the end of it, it's going to all look very, the sacred timekeepers are going to be the bad guys.
Yeah, well, and it's it's already getting that feeling at this point for sure. So, look, I think you wore the wrong hat. Your tinfoil hat probably would have been more appropriate for this conversation. Again, look, I know you can draw all that stuff out of it, and I see the parallels. I've seen the parallels. I get it. I just don't care.
Gotcha. Okay.
I can enjoy this for what it is, and never mind whatever anybody else might draw conclusions from, or think that they're making any subversive kinds of commentary about one way or the other about God and control and good things, bad things, and people's futures and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
If you actually think that doesn't take place in comics, then you're probably already living in a different timeline or world anyway. So I know it's there. I just don't care.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Cool deal, man. Anyway, if you have seen Loki, what are your thoughts on it? What do you pull from it that you feel like? Do you think they're trying to to do this whole thing, like I just said? And if not, am I just tripping? Do I need a tinfoil aluminum hat, as Shawn said?
Well, I think you could probably do a video on how to make your own foil hat, and you probably get some serious subscribers there.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Probably so. People follow anything on YouTube.
That's
Anything.
true. That's true. They follow this show.
Yeah, man. So let's dive into some music. Oh, hold on, wait a second. Bad Batch. Bad Batch.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of people were exploding over this last episode. Did you see the most recent episode?
Yeah, with Cat Bane.
How did you feel about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, because there were people like going crazy over it.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and I was like, was that the big thing that everybody? And obviously, he comes over from the Clone Wars
Mm-hmm.
universe. So if you haven't seen the animated show,
Very well spoken. Thank you.
Yeah, very well spoken. If you haven't seen that, then you're not really going to get the connection. But he was in that, which takes place before Bad Batch. So, and I don't know, not that. What's the time frame? Maybe like not too far apart, are they? I mean, because Clone Wars happened right before.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably a little bit. Yeah. Well, episode
a bit before, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, because little child Boba hooks up with some of the bounty hunters that he's running with and stuff like that. So
right. Yeah, man. So anyway, let's move on to some music news, bro.
All right. So Switchfoot. I've been a fan of Switchfoot for a long time. And I don't know, lately I've just been grooving on more of the music anyway. But they're releasing a new album August 20th. The album is called Interrobang. It's all one word, all lowercase, and it looks like they're going with the whole lowercase theme anyway, because they've dropped a new single called Fluorescent, which is out right now. You can check that out, and it's different, man. It's one of the things that I love about Switchfoot is that if you thought that they had a style, I picked them up when they were first starting to hit the scene in Christian music, and they were kind of that pop, sort of punkish, kind of beachy, whatever thing going on. And so everybody was all into it, right? And then they kind of went a little bit sideways. They went a little more just solid rock, and they had lots of great hits, Gravity, stuff like that. And then they just started doing music that they just dug, and it's just there's no singular sound. You could probably pull out 100 different musicians that they sound like at different times and different songs on different albums, man. Anyway, I don't know. It's just a lot of fun. But so you can check that out. August 20th is when the new album drops. You can pre-order. They have definitely different bundles. I pre-ordered their vinyl. It comes autographed, special vinyl. A couple different other merchants that are selling it as a pre-sale, also with different vinyl. So there's a Coke bottle, there's a clear, there's a teal. The one specifically from their website is orange. Whatever. Anyway, so there's some variety. Relent dropped Ghost, and it's getting a really good reception. I'm pretty impressed. Of course, we like Relent here on the show.
Yeah.
Death Therapy dropped a new video, Melancholy Machines. Death Therapy is just not your typical kind of metal, let alone Christian metal. So just listen with an open mind. I dig them. I wouldn't say that they're necessarily on my regular playlist, but I definitely enjoy their music for sure. So you can check out their new video, Melancholy Machines.
Yeah, I wasn't just go back to Relent.
Oh yeah.
I was just a little bit disappointed. I was like, man, because the one before that was great.
Yeah.
Like, I love their single before that, and this one came out, and I was like, nothing really special about it. It's kind of like some of those Red albums where you listen to 5 songs and you felt like you were just listening to one the whole time.
Yeah,
that's what it kind of felt like to me. It was just like
it's getting a lot of listens, man. People are really connecting with it. So
I mean, when you drop a single, that it does help do that. When you drop an album. Like this song to me on an album or EP with a collection of other songs, I don't know if it'd get that much love.
Yeah, it might just get lost in the.
Yeah. So So yeah, man. So Mouthpiece, heading on over to the CHH world. So this man retired, and then he didn't retire. And I just got to say this real quick for all of my people who are involved in Christian hip hop, at least into the fandom world. You know, these people always say they retire. Seven retired, KJ52 retired, and all these people retire, and then they come back and drop more music. And so Mouthpiece, he's got another single called "Sound of Victory," and his music's dope, man. I'm glad he didn't or came out of retirement, I guess I'd say. But just to know, just to forewarn you, anytime you hear someone in the Christian hip hop sphere say they're retiring, don't be upset. They're going to come right on back.
It's kind of like a Marvel character.
Yeah.
You think they've died, but really they're going to come back.
Yeah, then they get their own movie or their own Disney Plus show, depending on which one, on whoever it is.
It'll be all right.
So that's how it is. So it'll be all right. So Mike Teasy, he did an EP called Heat. He's a North Carolina artist. He calls it soul and R&B. I feel like it's got still a little tiny bit of hip hop vibe to it. But if you're into that, you want a little bit of a different approach to your Christian hip hop sound, go check out Mike Teasy. He is a rapper. He's got other music where he's just straight up rapping. So it was a good kind of a switch of pace for him a little bit. So go check that out. Now, this right here, this last piece of news is a little controversial. A lot of people probably already know about it. If you are on the Twitter world, then you already know there was another diss song that came out, and our good brother Mitch Durrell, he's all about some diss tracks, and so he loves battle rap and all that stuff. So YP, aka Young Paul, put out a song called Duck Duck, and it's featuring Selah the Corner. Now I was kind of interested to see why Selah would get on a song like this, because he knew the content. Because he even said on it, I don't know who peed off YP. So like he at least knew the premise of the song, and yet he still got on it. But I want to say there was a line that Selah did that I really loved, and I have to go check my Twitter real quick because I put it on there. But I mean, he had like several one-liner things, but he said, saying it's all about God, that's all cap. Nobody ever got saved from your merch pack. And I was like, man, I just love that line. Because I feel like, and I had just had a conversation with some folks about Christian hip hop and how it doesn't feel as ministry focused as it once did, because now there is the possibility of getting fame and getting and making a living off of it.
I was going to say, sometimes it's just making a living off of it,
So, and that's fine. Like, if you want to be a person that makes money off of music, I'm totally cool with that. I got no issues with that. But don't come in it saying it's ministry when it's really just music. Like, and you can put Christian themes in it. You can do all these things. Christian rock's done that for years and years and years and years. There are so many Christian rock bands that don't call themselves Christian rock bands, but they're still Christian. And they're rock bands, but they don't try to go and play at churches or push to the Christian outlets to support them. They're just doing their thing, and they get regular radio play, secular radio play. They hit all the main huge tours, which there's one coming up pretty soon, that Fit for a King, August Burns Red. A lot of Christian bands are a part of. I feel like they do a really good job at that, and Christian hip hop hasn't quite reached that. So people come in saying, "Oh man, I'm all about ministry." And then they slip back the more notoriety they get, and they just want to be a regular rapper now who happens to be a Christian. And so what I say is, if you want to be a rapper who is a Christian, come in the game with that intention. Don't tell people you're in this to do ministry or ministry focused. Don't try to go to all these churches and all these Christian website platforms to get all this support being a ministry minister or a music minister is what I meant. When you really just want to be a rapper. Like, if you want to be a rapper, tell me that, I'm going to support you. It's fine. You can just be a rapper if you want to be a rapper. It's cool. So anyway, off of that, but I did love that line from Selah the Corner.
Yeah, I think you definitely killed that horse.
But that line was just so great to me, and it just had me going off on a tangent. So anyway, that's it for the news segment this week. We'll be right back pretty soon, back on YouTube for y'all watching live. We'll be right back soon, Facebook. And look, if you're watching this on Facebook, for some reason, I guess it's my membership status. I can't post comments from Facebook to the stream here. So if you want to have comments put onto the screen during the live stream, you want to give your input, because we're getting ready to do our top 5 artists turned actors. So if you want to weigh in on that, you can just hop over to YouTube and do that. And we'll be back soon, so stay tuned.